Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. Just want to let you know about some breaking news into our newsroom just moments ago. We're still working to get it onto our website, atlantanewsfirst.com right now. But we have learned of an arrest, multiple arrests, in fact. But let me just share with you the information that we have at this moment that Gwinnett police responded to a call of a person dead at the Jeju sauna at Gwinnett Place Drive. Remember, we had reported that to you, and that happened on yesterday, which was September 13th. So during the course of the investigation, detectives are saying that they've uncovered additional information. They've now made several arrests. They've not yet notified the next of kin of the victim's family. And so that's something that they want to do before they release more information. They are preparing to release more information at 3 p.m. So of course we're going to bring that to you as well. And as always, we stream breaking developments whenever they happen here on Atlanta News First Plus. But I just want to let you know that some arrests have been made in connection to that victim found at Jeju Sauna at Gwinnett Place Drive in Gwinnett. But we're gonna, we're working to gather more information. We're gonna bring you the latest just as soon as we learn more. I also need to let you know about, of course, another major story that we are following here, a national story happening right here in Fulton County, the latest involving the former president, Donald Trump, and his co-defendants. So the major headline that I want to share with you is that Mr. Trump and 16 of his co-defendants will not be tried in October. This is coming after a hearing that happened just this morning, wrapped up, just a little bit before lunchtime, with Judge McAfee deciding on a number of motions. But the most significant of those motions is that the former president, Donald Trump, is not going to be tried in October. 16 of his co-defendants are not going to be tried in October. Only 2 of the defendants, 2 of whom are both former attorneys for Mr. Trump, both of them worked for Mr. Trump, Kenneth Chesebro and Sidney Powell, they are going to have their trials start in October, specifically October 23rd. I want to just go ahead and toss things over to my colleague, Rebecca Schramm, who has spent much of the day at the Fulton County Courthouse, and she's going to break down kind of the context to all this and the details.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Just before this morning's motions hearing involving defendants Kenneth Chesebro and Sidney Powell, the 2 former Trump campaign attorneys who requested a speedy trial, Fulton County Judge Scott McAfee issued an order. Attorneys in the district attorney's office had requested that all the defendants be tried next month, not just Chesebro and Powell, arguing in part that the defendants tried later would have an advantage. They'd be able to see in advance all of the prosecution's evidence and arguments in the case. Former President Donald Trump and the other defendants had asked to be tried separately, with some saying they couldn't possibly be ready for trial by October.
If the state's following its standard open file policy.
The judge ruled today that only Chesebro and Powell will be tried in October and that they will be tried together.
I'd like to adopt the brief.
Meanwhile, in court today, attorneys for Chesebro and Powell are requesting 3 things of the judge. They want permission to speak with the grand jurors who indicted the defendants. They want the judge to unseal the transcripts from the special grand jury, and they want a list of the unindicted co-conspirators.
And our thanks to Rebecca Schramm for that report. Just want to point out, it's a big blow to Fulton County DA Fonnie Willis, who wanted all 19 co-defendants to be tried together. And she argues that, by having the trials held separately, which is in fact what the judge has granted, that it allows the other defendants to kind of preview the state's case and get a look at their evidence, and then gives them an unfair chance to prepare for their own trial. So the prosecutors have said, when the trials for Sidney Powell and Kenneth Chesebro start on October 23rd, they're essentially going to present the same evidence, or much of the same evidence, as what they're going to present against the former president and all the other 16 co-defendants. I mean, remember, there's 19 co-defendants in all. And she's saying it kind of gives them a little preview and it allows them to kind of cheat, if you will. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the gist of what the argument has been. so that, they can watch what happens in those trials, that Trump and the other 16 co-defendants who are not being tried in October can basically watch what happens in the October trials, with Sidney Powell and Kenneth Chesebro, and get a sneak peek of what is coming at them when they go on trial, and that gives them an unfair advantage to prepare for their own trials. That's just the argument that Fonnie Willis has made, but ultimately the judge, Judge Scott McAfee, decided in favor of former President Trump and several others who wanted to have their case severed and wanted to have a later trial start. So that's how it's going to happen. But we're going to keep following the latest. And also want to let you know about some of the other top stories that we are following as well. First Lady Jill Biden is going to be at Emory University tonight. So talking about nationwide efforts to fight deadly diseases. So she is on her way to Georgia, if not here already. Let me just change the graphic here. Apologize about that. And she is scheduled to visit Emory University this evening. She's expected to highlight the launch of the Biden administration's first project, funded through the Advanced Research Projects Agency for Health, which aims to use technology to fight cancer. President Biden and Jill Biden met with the administration's cancer cabinet. They announced $240 million in additional investment this year to prevent, detect, and also treat cancer. Okay, let's talk about another hot topic, the proposed Atlanta Public Safety Training Center, because there's new developments surrounding that, what opponents call Cop City. So, we've been covering this push for civil rights groups, by civil rights groups, to open it up for a vote for everyone, in the area to get to put in their 2 cents about whether they think that this training center should actually be built or not. So the latest thing is that they're asking once again for Atlanta's mayor and city council to let the people decide the future of this. They held a news conference today just outside of City Hall in response to what happened before that, which was the city refusing to verify over 100,000 signatures that were on a petition to stop the facility from being built. It's complicated. One of the main things that happened, notable things that happened, was there was a confrontation between the mayor and a protester. My colleague Madeline Montgomery has a lot more on that.
Let the people vote. Let the people vote. Let the people vote.
A plea these civil rights protesters feel is going unheard by City of Atlanta leaders.
You have the decision. You have the decision.
Wait a minute.
Monday, a petition with over 116,000 signatures was presented to the city clerk's office.
It's time for the city of Atlanta to put this to a vote so the people have a voice. The purpose of governance is to be the voice of the people.
City officials said they couldn't accept the signatures, saying the petition missed an August 21st deadline. The deadline had been extended to September by a federal judge, but an appellate court paused that order, throwing the effort into legal limbo.
I'm not over the city council.
Okay.
I'm not over the clerk.
Okay.
These boxes came in and they should be counted.
Yes.
When the judge told them that it can't be counted because they're late, we're hoping that the judge will figure out how to make this happen.
Activists gathered on steps of City Hall today to say voter suppression is happening, plain and simple.
This has been a full frontal assault on organizing, on progressive activists. This has been a full frontal assault on making sure that people in Atlanta can have a decision in how city resources are being spent.
It's not my decision.
All right, so I also want to let you know about Music Midtown because it's starting tomorrow, and tens of thousands of people are expected to flood Piedmont Park for Music Midtown, and it's obviously a premier event. It's back after last year's cancellation, and a lot of artists and just broader community members blamed the cancellation last year on our state's gun policies. Which they say are lax, and allowing guns in spaces like this they say is dangerous and puts everyone at risk. But the bottom line here is this year guns are not allowed. Guns rights advocates say it's illegal, though, for a festival like Music Midtown to ban people from openly carrying a firearm inside a public park. But guns are not allowed. If you do bring a gun to Music Midtown, you will be turned away. Apologize for the graphic. I needed to change the graphic on that. Here it is. So just want to let you know, Music Midtown starting tomorrow. Tens of thousands of people expected at Piedmont Park for it, but no guns, no explosives or weapons, as you can see. Okay. Also want to let you know about something which is pretty interesting. There's a big push.
It's pockets of fashion.
Sorry. Pressed the wrong button there. There's a big push happening to make Atlanta a fashion hub. You know, a lot of people think Paris, New York, those are kind of the fashion hubs. People behind face or fashion art, culture, and education are determined to make Atlanta the next fashion hub, though. So they are bringing exposure to our talent in our city by putting on a huge fashion event this weekend. Excuse me. If this event takes off, Atlanta stands to financially benefit big time.
It's pockets of fashion in Atlanta, and what we're trying to do in Fulton County is bring those pockets out in the open and see how we can come alongside and strengthen what you're already doing. We don't want to take your brand, we want to strengthen your brand and bringing everybody together, because we're a strong believer that it is collaboration over competition.
So you will see works of art from Atlanta Public Schools and Fulton County Schools, as well as college students at Clark Atlanta University at this event this weekend. If you're interested in going, this Saturday's kickoff event is at High Museum of Art. All right, thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. Of course, if you want to get the latest news updates sent right to your phone, just download our free Atlanta News First app. Thank you so much for being with us. Have a great day.